I'm here with Richard Davis. Really glad to have you here, Rich. We're going to talk a little bit about how you're using process mining at RSM with your colleagues and with your customers. Really, tell me about the office that you're working in and where you work at RSM.
Sure. Well, thanks for having me here. I'm a principal in our management consulting practice, and right now we we have ABBYY Timeline integrally involved in our engagement approach in two ways. Number one, as we think about engaging clients now, particularly because of the pandemic, we've had to do so relying significantly on data and insights. And ABBYY Timeline gives us the chance to use a very straightforward tool set where perhaps we may have used a process map in a whiteboard and maybe a spreadsheet model if we were working at a client. Well, now we have to change how we've been engaging. So what we've been doing is asking clients, as we're diagnosing business challenges and opportunities for efficiency in client business processes, as well as risk mitigation strategies, we're connecting with our clients around data. We're asking them for large swaths of data, particularly from multi-sources. We're doing a lot of blending and normalization, and then we're able to put it into Timeline and serve it back to our clients as part of our diagnosis and assessment processes. And that has cut down on our speed to insight. So if we're doing things manually in the past, ABBYY can speed that up significantly. The other benefit that we're seeing is when we're sharing the data with our clients, the tool sets and the visualizations are very intuitive. And whenever you're doing process analysis work, you have to tweak some of the assumptions along the way. And the tool set allows us to change some of the modeling on the fly very quickly and run the same kind of data sets through it so that the client can be incredibly bought into the process with their data, their people at the table talking about how the process needs to be tailored in order to find those pinch points and opportunities to either mitigate risk or drive efficiency.
That's really excellent, Rich, and it sounds like you're easily getting this buy-in from your customers when they see that the realization of data and in front of them being able to make these improvements rather quickly. I know a lot of people tend to try and put together lots of tools. The world has obviously changed, and the things that we once did before are now completely different. Is there another way that you could have gotten these insights that you're able to leverage today? Is there other tools that may have been combined, or for the sake of simplicity, is this making it a lot easier for you and your colleagues?
So the answer is yes. There are other tool sets that if you combine them, they will do something similarly that is basically out of the box in ABBYY Timeline. However, I much prefer for the push of a button type of approach. And your tool set, or the ABBYY Timeline tool set out of the box, gives us a lot of robust functionality whereby we would have had to code, even if it was a low code tool like an Alteryx or something like that. We would have had to do the coding in a clean SQL environment, stringing together multiple sources in the past, whereas ABBYY allows us to do it native in one place and with all the checks and balances along the way.
So it's very clear that you at RSM and your colleagues in your practice are very data driven. When you look at the ability to measure this impact, and there's obviously various tools. A lot of our customers like to say that it is able to work out of the box, right? And ABBYY Timeline has 30 plus tools that our customers leverage and use in their daily work. Did you find that it was easy to get acquainted with the platform and begin to gain insight? And how long did it take you to sort of really see insight or see what was possible with the tool?
Yeah, so in terms of the availability of information that you provide for ABBYY University and so forth, I think there is a lot of technical and fundamental training that can be had very, very quickly. And then when you look at the interface of the tool and you set up a timeline and you think about the stage gates in a process, it's a very intuitive way of thinking of how to look at a process end to end with key steps. Assuming you get a clean data set, you run it through the tool. I think what's most impactful is being able to show what a client's in what I would call a client's internal benchmark of performance looks like. And this is something that does get a lot of press for a long period of time, is how to effectively use benchmarking as part of business process performance or risk management. Like, what are the tolerances? What does good look like? Most of the companies that we work with are starting to veer to, well, what do I look like when I'm doing my very best? When my teams cross-functionally are fully integrated and fully aligned, and what does a good transaction look like when it's sailing through the system and needs very few touches in order for it to be the most efficient process? Being able to show that in the tool set quickly out of the box is incredibly impactful. What most of our customers want to be able to do is to tie those challenges that they're seeing in their process design, bring it back to how is that impacting our customer journey, and how much more can we improve our experience with our customers and clients by looking at these business processes, identifying those points of inefficiency or risk, and then driving them out. And so having that ability to be data-driven, truly now having ability to show a client their own internal best performance, their own internal benchmark standard, and their deviations from there, and then being able to compare that against their cohorts in the marketplace, like size companies, like size industry, and so forth. When you start taking those more macro level benchmarks and then bringing them in and putting them against their own internal benchmark that you can quickly snap with a timeline, is something that really gets, as I said before, it really gets the client teams to lean in and start thinking about how to tweak the process. And we always, in consulting, we always talk about sort of these 4 pillars of improvement: people, process, technology, and data. Well, when you think about quick wins and how to improve things, sometimes it just comes down to people sharing information with one another and seeing insights driven from the data. And so you can get a client team in a room very quickly, show them the analysis, and just get them talking on how to make quick win improvements to something, rather than have to embark on some large transformation journey. So I think that's a huge impactful benefit of the ABBYY Timeline toolset.